Hello, my friend. This video found you because you know that you are made for more. You know that there is something inside of you that is calling. There is a call to adventure. There is a destiny that you and only you need to pursue, and it's calling for you and it's waiting. And just know, God didn't give you any dreams without the ability to fulfill them. God is not Satan. He is not a master of illusions, of games. No. The dreams that you feel in your heart are real, and you were also given the power to fulfill them. And just like the dreams, where does the power to fulfill them come from? It comes from within. It comes from you, your soul, your experience. It all means something. Every experience you've ever had has brought you here for some reason. What is that reason? That's for you to decide. You see, we tell our own stories. And most of the reason why I believe that people struggle is because they think they have to struggle. You understand? Most people, they won't allow themselves to be successful until they've struggled a certain amount of time. For example, take learning an instrument. Most people think in order to learn guitar, you have to punish yourself. You have to suffer and dedicate enough of your time and frustration in order to ingrain this skill into yourself. You think that now, after a certain point of suffering, I've earned the right to play good. When really, you may have been able to play good all along if you had just believed it sooner. You understand? Things are coming to you because you believe in them. If you go around just believing only negative things, then that is exactly what you will draw into your experience. Once I was working out at a fitness center, and a young man came up to me and said, "Bro, I was reading this study, and they found that the people that really believed that they were gaining muscle gained more muscle. They did a double-blind study and basically placebo effect study, and some people were just told only to believe that no matter what they were doing, they were gaining muscle. They were gaining muscle, and that's all they thought. There was no mistakes. No matter what, if they missed a workout, they missed a meal, it doesn't matter. They just believed that they were gaining muscle, always. I mean, of course, they were putting in the action to solidify that belief, but that came with it. The other group, people in the other group, were doing the same thing. They were doing the actions, but they had no belief. They were told to just, no matter what, you're not gonna, well, I don't know what they were told. I didn't read the study myself, but I'm imagining they had no encouragement. They weren't told to think any certain sort of way. They didn't have any sort of hypnosis, any sort of mental backing to their regime. And unsurprisingly, all the people in the group with the positive thinking had done better, had gained more muscle. And this bro was so stoked about that. And yeah, good for him. And I hope I didn't discourage him, because when he told me this, I just said, well, yeah, obviously that's the case. Which, that probably wasn't the right thing to say, because that's not obvious to people, I guess. And I'm sure at some point that probably wasn't obvious to me either. And even at that point, it wasn't as obvious to me what that power of belief can do. Yeah, I always thought, if you really believe that you're gaining muscle, you will gain more muscle. And I put that to the test, and I proved it for myself. And many things have worked like this. But the more that I started to believe in myself, the more I started to believe in my path, the more things unfolded for me the way that I thought could only happen in dreams. You understand? Sometimes all that's standing between you and manifesting your best life is this: your mind. Everything that you need to achieve, you already have the skills to do it. There's just only the mental blocks that are holding you back. Nobody has ever been 100% prepared for any adventure either. No matter what you do in life, there's going to be struggles. And that's the fun of it. That's like the whole point of this conversation. Your whole adventure of life is a beautiful thing when you look back at it, even in the toughest times. Most people say when they look back at their life, it's the struggling years that were now the most rewarding and the most fun. That's what you need to realize. If you're going through it right now, if you're really putting in the work and you're struggling, but you're not seeing the results and you don't think you're getting what's coming to you yet, you are. You're doing all of the unseen work. Even in the financial world, most businesses will not turn a profit for at least a year. Most of the time, you will be lucky if you even break even having a business the first year. And that can be extremely discouraging. Imagine you invest tons of money in a business and you're getting nothing back. That makes you want to quit, doesn't it? But that's life. Who are the people that succeed? The people that just don't quit, even when they fail. If you can turn your failures into lessons, then they become wins. They become victories. Keep on believing in yourself. And you will find the more you believe in yourself, the more others will believe in you. And the more they will believe in themselves too. Self-belief is contagious. And so is positive energy. It reminds me of this story. You know, most of the time when I see a homeless person, I want to help them, but I don't always know what the best way to help them is. Because some people just don't. Most people, money is not the answer. You think that if you just had a ton of money right now, your problems will be solved. But that's not what's holding you back in actuality. So, I was on this pier in France, down by the ocean, okay? And it was Christmas Eve, actually. And I was just out there by myself and completely alone. And that was it. You could think, wow, that's sad to be alone on Christmas. But it wasn't for me. But my perception was different, you see. I was sitting and I was skateboarding down this pier, and eventually I had to stop to take a break, and I sat down, and just a little ways below me there was this homeless man sitting there drinking a tall can of beer. And he was, like a typical street person that you would imagine, like very hunched over. And he had this horrible look on his face, like just defeated, miserable. He was drinking alone in the cold on Christmas Eve. But then he sees this strange guy come skateboarding up and sit down, and here I am. I'm smiling my ass off. Why? I just had this great energy about me. I just felt so good. And I was sitting there smiling, just smiling. And I look down at this guy, and he sees me, and at first he sees me smiling and looks away quickly. And then he looks back at me, and I'm still smiling at him. And then he kind of smiled a little bit and then looked away again. But he couldn't help it. And then he looked back at me again, and he just started smiling. And then we were smiling at each other, me and this guy. And he started to laugh, and he said, "Man, your charisma is just contagious." Or rather, in extremely broken French, he was saying, "You have such great charisma." And it was, we somehow had this conversation with my extremely limited ability in French and his equally as limited ability in English. But basically he was saying, he got to the point of asking me, how can you be out here all alone like this and just be so happy like that? Like, why are you so happy? And I said, there's no reason to, man. There's no reason to be happy. I just choose to be this way. And, I think it was like I somehow lifted him out of his dark trance for just a moment even. And I like to think that some small interactions like that will have a positive effect on people's life. The more you carry yourself with positive energy, the more you can give that to other people, the more you can encourage other people and show them that the ability to do the same is within them. That is a superpower, you see. You see, one of the most underestimated traits in this world is just righteousness. Being a righteous person is more than enough. You know, like some people too, maybe your purpose in life, like you think, oh, I'm not successful because I don't have tons of money, I don't have all these things. Maybe your purpose in life is to change that one person's life. Maybe just that one kind interaction is going to set off a chain of events that is going to lead to a brighter future for everyone. You just don't know. And that's why you need to develop yourself to your max. And by developing yourself, you're doing the entire world a favor.